What's going on, 49er Faithful, 49er Fam, 49er Gang? This is your boy, Niner Gang Podcast, a.k.a. 49er Dion, a.k.a. Swift D, back in the building. So with that being said, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. That being said, let's get right on into it, man. So as you saw yesterday, I went ahead and brought on Crystal Peachy B. Shout out to Peachy. Appreciate you for coming through. And we talked about the QBs. So today we're going to talk about the offensive lineman. And I got to bring in a guy who was a previous offensive lineman himself, along with the fact that he has knowledge of these offensive linemen. And he's got his own channel. And he appreciated me enough to bring me in on the 49ers Round Check. We do that every Monday. So without further ado, let me bring in the guy. CG Ruthless, what's happening with you, sir?
What's going on, man? Yep, offensive line, that is my thing, man. Love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's jump right into the mix. So we could just go position by position, and I'm using this from CBS Sports. They have the depth chart as it pertains to the 49ers' current offensive lineman. I found theirs to be the most accurate of actual people that are on the team. So this man really deserves not much talk, only because he's the best offensive lineman in the league, and he is a 99 overall in Madden. People pay close attention to the man, the myth, the legend, the silverback himself, Mr. Trent Williams.
The Sooners legend?
Exactly. I already know who Trent Williams is. I already know what he brings. And, I mean, with Trent Williams protecting Trey Lance's blind side, I feel very comfortable this year. How about you, CG?
Oh, dude, without a doubt, he still got it at this age. He finds the fountain of youth at 33 or 34 years old. Dude, this guy is still producing.
Yeah, man, he is actually fairly awesome. And it's great to have people play alongside him, strictly based on the fact of what you will gain as an offensive lineman. Laken Tomlinson looked fantastic next to Trent Williams. Not to say that Laken wasn't good, because he was, but Laken Tomlinson looks fantastic next to Trent Williams. I'm sure Aaron Banks will do the same. But staying with left tackle. Now, I know some of these guys may be a little out of position, so don't rake me over the coals, people, while you're watching. So the next guy up is Jalen Moore. Now, Jalen Moore did play left tackle for a little bit when Trent Williams went down last year. And basically, they came to him and asked him, could he step in, and he stepped in fairly well. But Jalen Moore is a versatile offensive lineman. I believe he can play guard or tackle. Don't see him playing center at all. But I think from what I saw from Jalen Moore, it's very promising. And I've heard he's possibly in the mix with Mr. Brunskill for that right guard spot. So what do you think of Mr. Jalen Moore?
Well, Jalen Moore, he plays pretty much the two spots. I like that about him. The versatility. The body size makes him more of an NFL guard than he does at tackle, but he could play tackle. So he's definitely a good, versatile guy who can just play those two spots. But yeah, between him and Daniel Brunskill, that would be intriguing. But the thing that people can't take away credit from Brunskill is the fact that he can play all the offensive line positions. So it's like, I like what Jalen Moore brings to the table. Definitely, I like him better as a guard because he's got that big body compared to Brunskill. Brunskill is just more like a natural, but not that big built guy, but he's just decent.
Completely understand that there, man. Now, this guy I don't know much about, Sam Schluter. I'm assuming he's probably a UDFA. With that being said, I'll be completely honest with you, most likely just a camp body, a guy they brought in, because you can have your roster pretty full, before preseason and all through training camp. And it isn't until, those couple weeks in preseason where they do basically start making the cuts and whatnot. So for me, don't know much about Sam Schluter. Will tell you straight up that the guy seems to me like he's more so a camp body. What do you think?
Yeah, probably more of a camp body. But when I look at the way I watched some of the film at Minnesota, he did play some tackle and some guard spots. So versatility is what we value most. And yeah, he probably would be a camp body, but he probably would make it in the practice squad.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. So I just wanted to dig a little deeper because when I don't know about guys, I do kind of try to do a little bit of research on them. I didn't get a chance to take a big look into it, but this is from NinerNoise.com. It says from the outset, Sam Schluter's 6'6", 309-pound frame is pretty ideal for what teams would want in an offensive tackle. His flexibility to play both sides of the lines works in his favor too, as the 49ers have yet to identify a swing tackle to support the two starters, Trent Williams and Mike McGlinchey, heading into training camp. So here's a little tidbit. It says, it's clear why Schluter went undrafted in April. His pass blocking ability will need some serious work to make an NFL roster. However, his ability to play either right or left tackle makes him worthy of heavy investment from the 49ers coaching staff. Schluter might need a complete reboot of his technique to make a regular season roster, but having an actual swing tackle would pay off in spades for the 49ers. So here's the thing. With that being said, with that information, that tells me that Schluter's probably going to be exactly where CG said, practice squad, and that they will most likely go ahead and develop him, work with him, and
add some weight on it too.
Add a little weight, and once he gets to a place where they feel comfortable with him, they'll start incorporating him into the offense. The number one reason why I like the fact of the development is because it says he has pass blocking issues. McGlinchey already has pass blocking issues, and we don't need any more of that at right tackle. So we'll go ahead and stick with what we have. I can appreciate the fact that Schluter is here, and hopefully he does continue to grow and make himself, put himself to the conversation. So now that we're done with the left tackle, we're going to slide over to left guard. Now, currently, left guard, from what we all hear, what we all believe, is supposed to go to Aaron Banks. Now, for the sake of argument right here, it looks like they have Colton McKivitz at left guard. So we all know who Colton McKivitz is. Colton McKivitz plays same thing that Jalen Moore plays. He's basically tackle or guard. He does not play center, but I've seen him play left tackle for a full season in West Virginia, and I've seen him play guard. And he's played a little bit of right tackle as well. So you know how Kyle is. He loves his versatile offensive lineman. So what do you think of Mr. Colton McKivitz?
Colton McKivitz, just by looking at the way he plays, I just feel like he's a lot better as a guard than he is as a tackle. Because when you look at his body and the way he plays that position, that's exactly what makes the transition from the way he plays the game. But do I like him as a backup? Absolutely. He's not that bad. If you look at films of what he did on that Rams game, he did pretty solid, like the season finale.
Yeah, Colton McKivitz, man, I like him due to his versatility, and I also think he's an asset to this offensive line. For me, put him at guard, put him at tackle. I don't care where you put him, but get him some time on the field. He's definitely earned it, and it is well worth it for us to see what he may possibly be able to do. So next guy on the list is a guy that a lot of people love, Spencer Burford. We did draft this kid, and talk to me about Mr. Spencer Burford, man. All I've heard is glowing things about him from OTAs, and everybody seems to like this dude. I don't know a 49er content creator that isn't excited for this young kid. So by all means, you got to smile and you ready to go. So by all means, let us know.
Yeah, Spencer Burford. Let me tell you guys what, man. I interviewed that guy like months before the draft. This guy, he's a quick learner. He played tackle, played some guard. I've been told that he could do a little bit of everything, like maybe play a little center also. But he's only played he's mostly played tackle and guard in college, so that's where he's going to be asked to play. But they're asking him to play at the guard position to compete. So I'm guessing his upside could be maybe by next year, if we move on from McGlinchey, maybe you swing him to replace him because he can play anywhere in those spots. What I like about Spencer Burford is he's physical, nasty, brings that intensity, gives you that Trent Williams Jr. vibe. You know, he gives you he's a good run blocker. needs to work on his pass blocking a little bit. His footwork, he'll get there. Proper coaching, that's all it is. But he's definitely going to be there as a backup, maybe compete for a starter spot.
Okay. I see you. And definitely, I've heard nothing but good things, like I said, about Mr. Burford. So next guy up on the list, he had a year off last year. Throughout training camp, he's been playing right tackle for us due to Mike McGlinchey not being able to go, is Mr. Justin School, a.k.a. Schoolie. That's what Trent Williams calls him affectionately. He said he loved him some Schoolie, man. But Justin School, man, he wound up having a bad injury last year. Tore that, I believe he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
And he was out for the year. But he's been back, man. He's healthy. He's been playing right tackle for us. So what that tells me is if we have to go into the season and McGlinchey possibly isn't ready, honestly, I think the School's going to be our right tackle. Little trepidation there, a little cause to pause, strictly based on the fact that, man, we're going to retool our offensive line. We don't know if and when that's going to happen. You know what I mean? I mean, we know it's going to happen this year, but, we don't know how different it's going to be. I know for a fact that we definitely have Trent Williams as our guaranteed starter, but the rest of the line, honestly, is a toss-up. We would think we know what it is, but we'll go over who we think the offensive line is projected to be at the end. But I like Justin School. I think he is the swing tackle. Honestly, I think he's got the keys. He's just got to make sure no one snatches it from him during the course of training camp. So what do you think of Mr. School?
Yeah, he's definitely coming off an injury. He's been working out pretty hard. Yeah, he's definitely that swing tackle that we actually trust more because Shanahan doesn't just give it to any other young offensive lineman. They had to actually be around for a while and know the system, and School's been around. So I think I agree with you 100%. I think he's getting bulkier, working out hard because he's coming off an ACL injury. So that takes some time. I can't.
Yeah. So the next guy up on the list is going to be Jason Poe. Now, everybody is in love with this kid because of his crazy, freakish athleticism. I mean, this dude can play left guard, left tackle, right tackle, all of those things. And he's able to do all these things at a high level. So we definitely appreciate him for what he did, and we appreciate him. We appreciate him for what he can do and what he may do. So I see him being the Mr. Versatile of the crew. What do you think about Mr. Poe?
Oh, dude, this is an outstanding football player. Like, doing my research on this guy and interviewing him on my show also was incredible, dude. This guy can play anything. He can even play our fullback. Like, I've seen some plays where this guy can catch a ball, but I see him more as a center because they've been asking him to play center, but he could play the guard spot. I don't think he can play the tackle because they want tackles a little bit taller. And he's more better as a guard because he's a low man. When you play offensive lineman and you're short, usually low man plays guard or center. So you got to have that low man wins, the trenches and type of that stuff. But Jason Poe is more like, I think he has the projection to be a successful center at the next level.
Okay. I like it, man. Jason Poe, the most versatile offensive lineman I've ever seen coming out of college. This dude, and he's full of energy, man. He is a high energy guy, and I love every second of watching him when he does either interviews or he speaks or anything like that. So next guy up on the list is going to be for center. So we are looking at Mr. Jake Brendel. We are all anticipating that Jake Brendel is going to be the starting center unless Kyle Shanahan turns around and shoves his head right back up his ass and decides that Daniel Brunskill is a better center. Me personally, I like the fact that Jake Brendel and Trey Lance already have a rapport built. So I would not want them to wind up switching anything and saying, hey, now you need to go ahead and slide over to guard or this or that, or you need to be the backup. I don't want that to happen. So for me, I like Jake Brendel. I love the connection that he has with Trey Lance. He's been playing center the whole time, all of OTAs. I don't anticipate that changing. What do you think of Jake Brendel?
Yeah, Jake Brendel. This is the most important key factor for the offensive line. It has to depend on the center position. The starter it has to depend on how the center plays. I mean, we all know what Trent Williams can be, but the rest of the offensive lineman has to depend on the center spot. So Jake Brendel, he does have the advantage when it comes to knowing the system and being around Trey Lance. So I'm definitely going to agree on that part because I don't want to just have a starting center who hasn't been familiar with Trey Lance. You know, like if I want to throw a kid like Donovan West or Jason Poole out there, I hope they actually got good connections, but I'd rather have more trust with a veteran like Brendo because I mean, if Shanahan didn't really believe in Brendo, he wouldn't have never brought it back.
Those are all facts, man. I completely agree with you there. I think that Jake Brendel is going to be an asset to the squad, and I think we're going to have a damn good time watching him go out there, hike the ball, make sure that he calls the plays. And plus, remember, he did have a year behind Alex Mack. So he was able to pick up some things, and I'm pretty sure if he needs more work or anything like that, he could definitely call on him like a big brother to be able to say, hey, man, am I missing something? What did I see here? What do you think I can improve on? Same way that Hufanga does with Troy Polamalu. The next guy up is Donovan West, man. ASU. He's a gentle giant. Met him in person before. Very nice guy. Not really sure too much about his ASU career, honestly. But talk to me. Tell me what you think of Mr. Donovan West.
Oh, dude, this was by far like one of the top 3 centers in the draft, bro. This guy had some top grades. If not for the injury, this guy would have easily been a 3rd to maybe like 5th round at that point. But this guy, he's a young kid, still young at this point, and he's somebody that would fit the system perfectly. But in my opinion, it might take him a year to learn this, just by a perspective. Like I think he's probably gonna. I mean, this would be a shocker, but I don't know if he'll even make the roster because it depends on how we keep the offensive lineman. But if we can stash him on the practice squad and develop this kid, I can see this kid make a leap next year because, you know, this offensive line is pretty stacked, but I would be fine if we do keep him, but it just wouldn't surprise me if we do cut him because we look at guys who can contribute. And if we can develop him and stash him on the practice squad or something like that, or try to make up an injury and say he's on IR and put him on the stash, bro, that'd be a steal.
And that's what the 49ers are really good at. They'll stash players they find they believe in, and they continually will keep them, go ahead and try to funnel them through the system, hope and pray that they pass waivers and keep on pushing. So,
he can move for that position. Yeah. He's very athletic. He can move a lot. He's definitely somebody that everybody's praising about. Kermit Edwards says nothing but nice things about him. And I just think maybe one more year, he could definitely have a head start.
There we go. I can appreciate that. Matt, dang, bro, where you been at, man? I ain't seen you in like forever. But the next guy on the list is somebody that we all know. We get frustrated with this guy year in and year out because there are times where he just doesn't show up. But there are 2 times a year you can guarantee that he's going to show up, and that's versus the Rams. And he takes another guy on the other side of that ball on that defensive line and just makes him his bitch every single time. I don't understand how this shit works, but it does. At the end of the day, sorry, Aaron Donald, if you got a father, his name is Daniel Brunskill. So we're going to change your last name from Donald to Brunskill because you get owned by him every single time. And like I said, there's other times in other games with Daniel Brunskill we can have some suspect moments. Mose in those moments, my dog Mose knows. In those moments, we'll call him Daniel Brunskill. So I think Daniel Brunskill is a lock for the right guard position. At least he has the keys, and he has to make sure no one fights and takes it from him. I do believe our offensive line is probably going to be rotated a lot in training camp, which is only a few days away. So tell me what you think of Mr. Brunskill, because I like him. He's sometimey, but I do think that he has a lock on that right guard spot at the current time.
Brunskill is like definitely an offensive lineman's favorite type of player, bro. If he can play all the spots, that's all that matters. He's going to probably either play that guard spot, but man, I would hate to see him play center, to be honest, but I like him better at the guard and tackle spot because at least he's solid and decent at that spot. But yeah, I can see him take that guard spot with no questions asked. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Moore eventually goes in that competition and beats him out. It wouldn't surprise me, but I think they're going to go with a veteran like Brunskill, who's been around and knows the system. So I think what I like about Brunskill is, yeah, he may not do as good as everybody thinks, but I don't know. Aaron Donald has a kryptonite, and it happens to be Brunskill. So maybe Donald's 99 overall could have been 100, but it went down to 99 because of Brunskill.
Yeah, man. When he plays Brunskill, he's more like a 78. Like, he drops dramatically, and I respect Aaron Donald. I respect what he's done. You know, congrats to the Rams for going ahead and getting that Super Bowl. Congrats to Matthew Stafford for finally getting the hell out of Detroit because he was never going to win nothing there. There's no disrespect to people that like the Detroit Lions. They suck, though. And they're never like that franchise is just.
Barry Sanders quit after that.
Yeah, Barry Sanders had an ironclad contract, and I believe Barry Sanders is the greatest running back of all time. I don't care what nobody says about Emmitt Smith or Walter Payton or anybody else. I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite running back is Barry Sanders, and right behind Barry, honestly, is Frank Gore. Yeah, it sounds like I'm being a homer, but name another dude that had the kind of longevity that this guy's had.
I don't think there's not many running backs like that.
Not very many. So we'll slide over to the guy who's supposed to take the left guard spot, Mr. Aaron Banks. We drafted him last year with the first pick. Not last year. Well, yes, technically speaking. We drafted him with the second pick that we had. I was very disappointed. I did not want Aaron Banks. I would have preferred for us to have a defensive back, a.k.a., you know, Asante Samuel Jr.
I don't know if you saw that rant video. I did a rant video when I was pissed about that pick.
Oh, man, please. My boys over at the Forever Faithful podcast, Brandon and Christian, they've got my reaction when we drafted. Speaking of Brandon, he pops right in the building. What's that with you, Brandon?
Yeah.
They had my reaction when we drafted Drake Jackson this past year. And it, to me, was annoying because I got tired of seeing us draft defensive lineman after defensive lineman.
You told me about that part.
Lineman. I hate it. I really do. It's not that I don't like the fact. I don't like the players. I just don't like the fact that that's all we think about in the first goddamn round. The only reason we drafted Trey Lance was because, 10 can't stay healthy. But either way, we drafted Aaron Banks. He's supposed to be the starting left guard. He's penciled in as a starter for most people. We will most likely see competition, but the franchise believes in him. Kyle has talked about him in a very positive light and said that he's made some great strides. The other offensive lineman has said the same for him this offseason. He himself is very quiet and very curt when he speaks at his interviews. Doesn't like to be asked questions 2 or 3 times, and I get it. For me, let me say this real quick before I throw it to CG about his feelings about Aaron Banks. You got to remember people are human beings. You can't always tell everybody to be perfectly poised and perfectly right and, just answer the questions and you knew this was coming. You can't do that to people because I'm going to tell you right now. If you ask me a question, I give you a definitive answer and then someone else asks that same question, all I'm going to do is say next question. And they're going to look and go, but you didn't answer mine. I just did with the previous question that was asked. All you did was rephrase it. I don't need to answer the same question twice. You rewording a question ain't about to change the fact it's the same damn question. It's like being Deshaun Watson going up to the podium and the first thing they ask is, Deshaun, what's going on with your legal cases? I can't talk about that. If we're not here to talk about football and that you don't have questions outside of that, then I don't understand that there's nothing I can tell you. This is legal stuff. I can't talk about that, but you're still going to ask, which makes absolutely no sense. And then what happens, they come on, people come on the TV the next day and go, why is he so upset? Why would he be mad that they asked that question? It's like, you dumbass. I told you already I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. We have people that are purposely here that do legal stuff that tell you he's probably not going to be able to tell you shit. So you ask that question knowing you're not going to get a fucking answer. Why? Because you want a reaction. But then when they're smart enough and they pull a Marshawn Lynch and tell you they just here so they don't get fined, then you get upset because they don't want to talk. Stop asking me a dumbass question. Ask me something that refers to football, and I'll gladly answer it. But what are your feelings on Mr. Aaron Banks after that little rant? My bad.
Oh, I like Aaron Banks in some perspective. When I first saw this guy become the pick in the second round, at first, I was upset about the Asante Samuel going to the Chargers. I was really, I don't know, like if you've ever seen that video, I was raging and throwing my hat pissed off, and I was cussing out of it. But what I liked about Aaron Banks is he's a big guy. I mean, he may not be like a athletic type of guard by any means, but he's a solid run blocker. Got the big body frame. Just needed to drop a little bit of weight. That's all I've heard about his film is solid. Like when it comes to running the ball at Notre Dame, they run a scheme exactly similar. But what I liked about Aaron Banks this offseason was he cut down the fat and toned up some muscles. So he looks a little bit more bulked up a little bit. Last year, he was just a little bit out of shape. Now you see this guy working out and putting in some extra work. He's aggressive. He's nasty. But what makes him so interesting is this is what we like to do with our offense. The previous years under this regime, we don't go for these big, heavy offensive linemen like that. Aaron Banks became something different because if you look at the previous regime, you had to at least be around 300 pounds or 310 at that position. Now that you're shifting towards a 330-pound guard, this guy he may not be fast, but when he gets into that sideline and makes that play, he blocks pretty solidly good. And Mike McGlinchey was pushing for this kid. So there's something about him that they like about him because he's a quick learner. He comes from a smart college, and he's pretty bulk. I mean, 6'5", 330 pounds. I mean, he toned up some muscles. Looks like he's ready to play. I like his attitude. I think what you said, he doesn't like to be asked the same questions, and I like that about an offensive lineman. He wants to just play ball.
Yeah, and I can understand and appreciate that at the same time, man. Like, I don't want to be, I wouldn't want to be asked a ton of questions, and then just sit up there and have to deal with the BS. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. So for me, I think he's definitely the left guard. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully what everybody's been saying is true, and we're good to go. So the next guy up is a guy named Keaton Sutherland. Now, I'm not sure much about this guy. Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull up like a draft profile. But while I do so, go ahead. Tell me what you think of Mr. Sutherland, because he sounds like another camp body to me.
Seems like it, but he was a guy that played center, if I'm mistaken. Played some center. I think he previously played with Miami, but he was mostly like a reserve guy. So I think when you look at him, he is pretty much a camp body. So you look at competition, we're probably going to add him for the preseason. Maybe he gets maybe he stacks into our practice squad. Maybe, but we'll see. But I think that's what we're adding depth for because this guy did play center. Because when I think of the name, I do a lot of my research. This guy did play center.
Yeah, he was a guard actually at Texas A&M. From what his draft profile says, looks like he's been in the league for a few years here because the draft profile comes back from 2015. So it's obviously been around a little bit. So to be honest with you, man, I don't get into players that I don't hear a lot about. And I'm just going to say, honestly, camp body probably winds up getting cut or practice squad. I don't see much out of the kid. Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey is our incumbent starter at right tackle. And that's as long as he's healthy and he's ready to go and he can go by training camp and get back on the field. Like I stated before, if that's not the case, it'll most likely be Justin School. Love McGlinchey's run blocking. He's second to none in that. He is fantastic. His pass blocking to me sometimes gets a little suspect here and there. I mean, he had a great interview with Brad from the SF Niners. So that was definitely really, really good for him. I know a lot of us as 49er fans and content creators have a few issues with his pass blocking. And, I know he went on a rant last year and kind of talked about how people were, couch quarterbacks and couch coaches and all that stuff. And he doesn't necessarily like a lot of the chatter that we put behind his name. And I can understand that because when you kind of get an attack like that, yeah, it can definitely upset you in many different ways. But what I want McGlinchey to understand is it's not that we're attacking you because we feel like that's what it is. That like it's fun to do it. It's we're just stating what we're seeing, and if we're missing something, then by all means, you're free to come and hang out with any of the 49er content creators and do a film breakdown and tell us what happened on these plays and why these things went on. At the end of the day, you still got ran over by CJ Gardner Johnson a couple years ago, and that dude's like half your size. So I understand that leverage and being off balance can play into things, but as big as you are, I'm sorry, nobody 185 pounds should be running you over. But either way, I do hope that McGlinchey has been able to improve on his pass blocking. And I know he's been rehabbing, so hopefully he's been doing a lot of film study. Does look like he's put the weight back on that he lost. And he did say that he feels better than ever. So hopefully the pass blocking continues to improve. And other than that, I don't have anything negative to say. What do you think about him?
Yeah, McGlinchey, I've always liked him in some perspective, but the pass blocking's always been the issue with me in person. Like when I watch offensive linemen, I want to see a good pass blocker, but when I watch him become a good run blocker, he puts it at the next level. I just think that what kind of hurts him more is the quad. Quad injuries it doesn't just heal overnight. It takes a while to process. He can be injured at any moment because of the pass blocking. Because when he backpedals and blocks, it's going to be a little bit of pain. It's going to be tough. But if he can go through the season with that quad injury, because he had surgery and it takes time, and he added back the weight. So that's a good thing. He's adding some weight to play up to his play weight because he was. That's why they call him slim, because he went down a little bit. And yeah, I mean, what I really like about him is that he's a big guy, but it's just, man, I just wish he was more of an aggressive pass blocker. He would be a great asset. It's just, you get this guy from Notre Dame. He's a smarty, but he comes from a football family like Matt Ryan. So you would figure, hey, this guy should be a better football player. But he's had his ups and downs.
Oh, yeah, Matt Ryan's his cousin, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But he had his up and down career. So I'm expecting, since it's his contract year, he should be able to ball out this year. I'm just hoping that the quad injury isn't what's going to hold him back this season.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't hold him back either. I hope he is able to go for the start of the season, and I hope that he's at least be able to get a few practices. And then if Brunskill is the right guard, it's not hard to build continuity with somebody you've been playing with for years. But the thing is Brunskill gets beat out, it's more or something like that. The offensive line has to gel as a unit and be, move as one.
And the communication.
To work. Yeah, and the communication has to be stellar for this offense to work the way that Kyle likes it to work. So, any moving pieces on that line have to be able to get in line really, really quick. Otherwise, you screw up the flow of the game. We can't do certain run plays that we do. We can't do certain pass plays. So you start to limit the offense when the offensive line isn't as cohesive as you would like it. But, okay, you're going to say this dude's last name because I can never get it right. Nick
Zadgel.
Zadgel?
Yeah, Zadgel.
Okay, so Nick Zadgel, another guy that we drafted. He is listed as a right tackle, probably can play some guard as well. Definitely do believe that he'll be competing for a spot on the squad, on the active roster. What do you think of Mr. Zadgel?
I look at him as a project because they really like his versatility. From what I'm hearing, I don't know if you believe me on this one, but I've been hearing that they've been trying to put him at center a little bit and then swing him in a little here and there because they like his upside. But he's a tackle from college. He was a tackle from college, played some guard and center. If you look at his, if you look at the college film at what is that? What's that college he went to?
I'll look it up.
It's a hard college to say, but Fordham. There you go, Fordham. Because when he played at Fordham, he was playing everywhere in the offensive line. So they had him mostly all around the offensive line. He was the most versatile offensive lineman. He was an all Ivy lead on the squad. He was under the 49ers radar before, like couple years back, and they liked this kid. So they felt very high on this guy, and they were surprised he slid a little bit because he had at least 4th to 5th round grades. But they do like his development. Maybe they look at him as a future center from what I'm hearing. But I don't know if it's accurate, because they like his versatility.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, if a guy's able to play all over the offensive line, he just falls in line with exactly what Kyle likes. Kyle loves that, the versatile offensive lineman, the guy that can play anywhere, because if ever somebody goes down, he knows he can count on that person to slide in at another spot and, not miss a beat. Just like a couple years ago when Justin School was getting murdered by Myles Garrett when we played the Cleveland Browns, they put Daniel Brunskill, and you saw that slow down or almost come to a halt. So that tells you I like Brunskill honestly better at tackle, whether it be left or right. That's where I feel he excels a little bit more, but I'm not going to lie, I like him at guard because of him handling Mr. AD. So now that we have moved on from Mr. Zadril, we will go ahead and speak about Alfredo Gutierrez. Now, Mr. Gutierrez is here based off of a NFL program that does allow players from Mexico City to be able to come in and play. And he was a part of that, and we do appreciate the NFL for reaching out and allowing players from different places to be able to do things. So I think that he's been a project for about 2 years now?
About 2 years.
About 2 years. Yeah. So hopefully we see him make some moves. When we first got him and I first learned about this program that we have in the NFL, I will say this. Hey, what's happening with you, Silverado? Yeah, we talking O-line, man. If it was D-line, I'd have brought you in here. But, you a defensive lineman there, brother. CG over here, we got to get him on the offensive line. One day we're going to get y'all to meet up and see who can win that little one-on-one scrimmage.
And once I put my hands, it's over.
Oh, there it is, Kev. He said the smoke has been brought.
Nah, I mean, it's all good, man. I'm just saying, but once I put my hands on defenders, it's pretty much a wrap.
There it is. He said, look, I get in them pads. He ain't going nowhere. Yeah, so the Ramelia Sports Report is in the building. He says, what's up, guys? Checking in from my nephew's birthday party. Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday to your nephew. Let's see. He says the Dodgers to the hated SF vagina.
Oh, God.
Hey, man, look, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to baseball, I do have 2 teams. It's because I watched one from being a child and the other I latched on to in a little bit later in my life. And I am a diehard Dodgers fan, and I love the Atlanta Braves. So anytime that the Dodgers are winning, I'm happy. I know I like the Niners, and I know that SF people hate me because they be like, damn, man, you a Niner fan. That's great. And then I tell them I'm a Dodger fan, and then they automatically turn around and just look at me like I'm out of my damn mind, but it's understandable.
I'm a little guilty as charged in some ways when it comes to the Giants too, but I do kind of like the A's a little bit.
Yeah, but see, my thing is I like to pick on them because they be talking. I mean, Giants fans get at me on Twitter and talk all kinds of shit, and I laugh because at the end of the day, I always tell them, you can win the regular season. All that don't mean shit. Are you in the playoffs? Where are you going in the playoffs? If you ain't going anywhere in the playoffs, then all that work in the regular season is for nothing. So while you want to gloat now, at the end of the day, the Dodgers and the Braves are going to be gloating on their way to a World Series. So, Andy, Andy, you're breaking my heart here, man. He said he's a Yankee fan. I don't want to hear nothing about them goddamn Yankees. I don't like them. I hate them. I hate the fucking pinstripes. I don't like this fucking clean-shaven face crap. I don't like none of it. But I'm not going to keep going because he's going to get me off track with that damn shit. And I know, shout out to Jason Aponte, very fantastic guy, amazing content creator. And he's a Yankee fan, die hard. So congratulations, Jason. You have the best record in the major leagues. But here's the thing. I still hate your team. I don't like them. I never will. But how do you feel about Mr. Gutierrez? I think at some point he's got to break through, or they probably have to let him go. I know they've been stashing him on the practice squad the past couple of years, but I mean, you can only have a guy as a project for so long before you got to either give him a shot or let him walk.
Man, like what I like about him is he's a big, tall offensive lineman, 6'9". I mean, the problem with him is he hasn't progressed as much as everybody expect him to be. Like, this is pretty much his time to step up during training camp and preseason. If this guy doesn't step up, there might not be no choice, but maybe, hopefully, I don't know. This front office has patience, so they might try to push him back in the practice squad. It's like if they don't see much improvement from him, they're probably going to move on from him because he's just part of a paved-way program. And usually when we get guys from international, it doesn't count against the practice squad.
Yeah, it really doesn't. But my thing is, I don't know where they're going to go with this. You know, they've had him for several years, and nothing's ever really materialized. And
so he's good as gone, in my opinion.
Possibly so, man. He could get cut. I hope he gets picked up, and I hope he gets an opportunity in the league because for him to be able to get that program was nice. And, I mean, I saw him pull some blindside type shit where he literally bull rushed the dude almost through the fucking end zone. And I was like, God damn. Like, really? That's what we're doing? But then again, you got to think in the league, that's a whole nother ball game. He probably playing against high school kids, ain't got no kind of skill, ain't they, technique, all kinds of stuff. It's different when you get into the league. Shifty 49ers talk, man. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
Shout out to one of my followers.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. If you ever want to get in with me, holla at me, holla at CG. We'll make it happen, bro.
Hey, that's true. That is true.
This is always what happens, right? The NFC
that is
West,
true. I agree on that.
The NFC West is a carousel of players.
Sloppy seconds. They like to make the most out of it.
Sloppy seconds all the fucking time. Whether it be us taking from somebody or somebody taking from us. More so, it's usually somebody taking from us.
Seattle takes the most out of ours.
Yeah. And, you know, we had Kerry Hyder, and then Seattle was like, well, let's do something. And then they were like, well, shit, without Chris Kasarik, this isn't the same dude. So, and it's no disrespect to Kerry Hyder. It's not to say that he's not a good player, but sometimes those people will put you together, man. They'll do you right. You know, yeah, he is a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Alfredo Gutierrez is a very large individual. But that's our O-line, man. So I want you to tell me if you feel like I'm on point or if you have a different outlook on it. So for me, all right, man. Yeah. Oh, going to check out Nope. Hey, man, have a good time. You know, Jordan Peele is a fantastic director. Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor. So is Keke Palmer. All of the people in the movie, man. I hope you enjoy it. I haven't seen it yet, but I hope to enjoy that too, man. Thanks for stopping by, Ramelia Sports Report. So I think that the offensive line shapes out like this: Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Daniel Brunskill, provided he's healthy, McGlinchey, if not, Justin School. What do you think about that?
I agree on all that spots because, of course, Silverback's the starter. There's no ifs and buts about it. So that's not even a question. Aaron Banks,
David Moore and Sam Schluter are going to beat out Trent Williams.
No way. That's what I'm saying. No way. But yeah, Aaron Banks, they're very high on this kid. But I'm pretty sure they're going to let this guy be the starter. They're going to give him the keys since he already learned an entire season and actually got a couple of snaps here and there. But he's going to be the guy. Jake Brendel, like you said, the familiarity makes sense, and the fact that he's got the chemistry, and Shanahan likes guys that's been around, so he's definitely going to be a starter at center unless something happens. But I don't see it happening with Brendel. I think Brendel gets the leg up when it comes down to the center position. Let's see, the guard spot, Brunskill. He's versatile, so he can either play any spots, but they're pushing him to play that other guard spot. So it would be kind of a toss-up between him and Jalen Moore. I really like Jalen Moore at that spot, but I'll give the edge to Brunskill because of he knows the system, he's very familiar, and they like him. So then you go with McGlinchey when healthy, which I'm pretty sure he is going to be the starter, so there's no ifs and buts about it. And then Justin School is your swing tackle. And then Mr. Versatility, who can probably play everywhere. I'm hearing a lot of Jalen Moore can be anywhere in the spots. And then you got
before you keep going, because you're going right into my next point. That's why I stopped you. So we got our starters. Now we got to see who stays and who goes. I think we both agree Schluter, Sutherland, and Gutierrez on the outside looking in. They're long shots to make the squad, to actually make this active roster. Now, that leaves Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz. And what I'll do is I'll switch it up. What I'll do is I'll give you a name, and you tell me squad, practice squad. Or
all right,
outside looking in. Or cut. Okay?
All right.
Colton McKivitz.
He's definitely a squad.
I agree. Spencer Burford.
He's a squad. He's definitely going to be the guy that we're very high on. If you don't, I mean, you draft this kid in the 4th round, so you're very high. So he's going to make the roster.
Jason Poe.
Ooh, man, it's a very tough one, but I'm going to say practice squad, unfortunately.
Okay, I can agree with that due to the versatility. You don't want to let a guy like that walk, and you just hope he clears waivers.
That's what we're hoping for, but I just don't know about it because Shanahan wants experience. He wants guys with, but I'm hoping that he does make the team, but I'm just being realistic about it. I just don't see him make the team. As practice squad, maybe if he clears the waivers.
Hello, hey, what's going on, Corey? Yeah, so the next thing is the next person we have is Donovan West.
Ooh. See, this one's a tricky one because they signed this guy very highly. They paid him as the highest undrafted free agent. So they might have him as a backup center. I say he's squad because they really like this kid.
I'm going to go squad / practice squad. I can't give him squad all the way because I'm not really sure. All right, Vermilion Sports Report. Let's tackle this. Niners love former Rams, always trying to get former Rams. All the way back to 1981, running back Wendell. Bro, nobody knows who the fuck these guys are outside.
Hacksaw was a linebacker. He was a linebacker. Kevin Green was great.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Only person I know on that list is Isaac Bruce.
Dude, Kevin Green.
We had Kevin Green. We had Isaac Bruce for how long?
2 years, but he was solid.
He was solid. I mean, Isaac Bruce
good veteran.
Is a great possession receiver. What are you talking? Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt? That was like a
not the same.
Dynamic duo. What the fuck? Yes, who wouldn't want Isaac fucking Bruce? You serious?
And he's a good veteran.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. So back to this. We have. All right, that's it, really. Oh, Nick Zakel. Yeah.
Ooh, this one's tough, but I'm gonna say if we cut him, he is practice squad. So practice squad.
Okay. I agree. P.S. He's practice squad. So we went ahead and talked about it, everybody. So basically, it looks like we're keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably about 8 offensive tackles, 8 to 9.
With versatility.
All with versatility. And I want to say, actually about 8 to 10. The reason being is because you got to have a backup for each position. But the thing is, you usually won't carry 10 offensive linemen on an active roster. It's just not going to happen.
And that's why Brunskill makes the team because of his versatility, and plus that would save enough roster spot. But they might make an exception for Donovan West because they paid him a lot as an undrafted free agent.
Very true, man. And you don't want to have to deal with that, man. You wouldn't pay the dude all that damn money, and then next thing you know, you got to cut him and still pay him. Ain't no point in that. I know teams do it all the time, and that's what it is. But hey, man, that is our wrap for the offensive linemen. It was great to have CG finally on the show. I've been hanging out with him, as I said, Mondays. We do the 49ers round check, and it's about to get even hotter going into this training camp, man. So y'all be on the lookout. Check out CG Ruthless Sports. Definitely let them know where they can find you, good brother.
Oh, yeah. CG Ruthless Sports, the main channel, but I'm definitely changing the route going under this new channel called CG Ruthless 49ers Talk, bro. Everybody's tuning in for the 49ers content. I'll give you nothing but Niners. But my main channel is CG Ruthless, and I definitely put Dion every Monday with the 49ers Round Check. I do the NFC West Network, which is every Tuesday from 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys haven't checked out that content, you guys are missing some good debates, man. I'm putting on a good show.
Yeah, and I need to get in on some NFC West type roundtables to see where people are, because I can tell you right now, man. Look, Kyler Murray just got paid. Young man got paid.
A lot.
So you know what, Kyler Murray, congrats to you. Hats off to you, good brother, for going ahead and getting your money. Few things on that. Kyler is not 5'11". Kyler's about 5'8" at best. I know, because I'm still close enough to the man. He ain't no goddamn 5'11". So let's knock that shit off right now. Second, don't think that he's worth that kind of money. Sorry. He hadn't done enough to earn that kind of a payday. And you had leadership issues last year, and you ain't won nothing in the playoffs. I'm sorry. When the last time you won a playoff game? Just because you made it don't mean shit. What you do in the playoffs is better than just making the playoffs.
True.
And I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this. There's some people who are great in the regular season. There's some people who are great in the playoffs. And I'm sorry, some of the greatest regular season quarterbacks suck ass in the playoffs. I'll tell you right now, there's two quarterbacks that are current starters on their teams, and that is Aaron Rodgers. Actually, not both for current, but one's current and one's retired. Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. They are great in the regular season. You have a 90 to 95% chance of getting to the playoffs. So you can just spitball it. You know that that's what's happening. Aaron has one Super Bowl. Peyton has two. And he only got the second one because of Denver's defense. We all know Peyton was shelling himself. So certain people do better in the playoffs than other quarterbacks. It just is what it is. You know, and if y'all haven't caught it, man, yesterday I did the show with Peachy. Definitely go check it out, man. It was a fantastic show. I laid out a lot of facts for all you damn Jimmy lovers out there. Just so you know, if you didn't hear Diana Rossini, he's gone, people. Move on.
Yeah, you can get a jersey at the Goodwill.
Yeah, let it go. And I say this all the time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you did. Bye. Don't want to see you no more.
Yeah, go to Subway. Around. Go do your commercials on Subway.
Hey, look, go to Subway, man. Get all the Italian.
Or go to Jimmy John's.
I don't care where you go. Just don't bring your ass around here. Thank you, CG, for hanging out with me, man. To everyone who came watching, we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Check out CG Ruthless Sports. Check out CG Ruthless 49ers show as well. And we are good to go. Y'all have a blessed day. And we are out.
Peace.